Welcome to Uncloaked Illusions. I'm Chris Anthony, and I wanted to come to you with a little thought-provoking idea. Now, let's think about this. With everything that's going on domestically and globally, the government shut down at 11:59 because they could not reach any kind of agreement or any kind of negotiations dealing with the DACA bill. 700,000 illegal immigrants that came here as kids. Now, think of the strain on our resources and on our finances behind this. Also, the whole notion of the expose dealing with the political corruption, ranging back to the Clinton, the Bush, and the Obama administration, especially the Obama administration abusing its power with the security companies. Now, this is very, very telling because the DOJ, the security companies, they all colluded, they all abused certain powers to surveil the incoming president and his administration. And if you had noticed, they've been doing everything in their power to, again, bring this particular president down and his administration. And mind you, there's a great deal of finances, money that's come up missing. Like, no one can account for the $6.5 trillion that came up missing with the Pentagon. And also, there's many other issues going on. We have the Arab League. They're basically removing themselves from using the petrodollar to join forces with the Chinese to peg to their yuan, Petro Yuan. This is a great deal of things that are going on, and the American people have been played. They've been duped. They've been kind of cornered to listen and to deal with all of the craziness that's going on in the country, and they're not paying any attention to what's going on globally. The power, as I've been saying, is shifting from west to east, and that's what we're seeing. I mentioned this I asked the question to one of my coworkers. What if you wake up one day and you go to the grocery store and you want to purchase bread, maybe ham, turkey, bologna, whatever it is that you eat, and you realize that the bread is literally about $40 or $50 and the meat is 3 times as much as the bread? What would you do? And their response was, I just won't be getting bread or meat. So basically you won't be eating. Well, that is actually going to happen in the United States because of the hyperinflation. Now, Venezuela, you have places like Puerto Rico, you have places that are moving away from using a petrodollar. Iran, when it started to sell oil, when it was allowed to, when sanctions were removed, they only wanted to accept the euro. The Europeans are also only starting to get into the Petro Yuan. Whom else? Germany, France. A great deal of these countries are now getting back to a system that's going to be based in gold. And yes, people can say that China has a lot of debt. Yes, China does. But ultimately, China's debt is internal and it's not external. The United States' debt is internal and external. So there's a great deal of things going on. While all of this political theater is happening, your country is basically about to go through something worse than a depression. And that's the changing of power. That is the dollar being dethroned. And this is definitely going to be interesting because it's been warned, not only by myself. I've been doing it for a short couple of months, but I've had this conversation with people over years, and I saw the shifting happening since about 2012, and it's happening relatively quick with China. I mean, on the 18th of January, this month, the Petro Yuan is going to go into full effect. And over 60 countries have already signed up to the One Belt, One Road system that China has pretty much implemented. China is in Africa bringing infrastructure and an economy to this country. They are bringing this particular infrastructure. They are bringing a tangible economy to other countries. And the only thing that we can do is saber rattle and try to do everything in its power to keep this particular system going on that's completely insolvent. And it's something that, again, you need to pay attention to, because this shit is literally about to hit the fan. You're going to see more and more and more of these distractions arise, because it needs to keep you from not focusing on the fact that your senators, your representatives, they sold you out. Okay? They sold the American people out. They sold the country out. Okay? They know that this system is about to shift. They know that the banksters literally have no allegiance to any country. The banksters know that the power is heading east. They actually orchestrated all of this. So I'm not implying any kind of revolution or anything of that nature, but this is what happens, and this is, in my opinion, and also history. This is what happens when you have a bunch of when you have a completely ignorant society voting. Just like one gets a driver's license, it's a privilege. You have to take a test. You should have to take a civics test to see if you know basic goddamn civics. Because this is, again, what happens when you have a bunch of ignorant fucking people voting. So at the end of the day, you can't look at any of your leaders and get angry with them, because you voted these fuckers into office. You voted all of this shit into office. I'm Chris Anthony, a little aggravated by it, because, again, I see all of this political theater. I see all of this distraction, and nobody's really paying attention to the power actually shifting from this country to another. Yes, they're going to want to blame Trump for everything, and maybe he even signed up for this. But this system is insolvent. It was failing for quite some time, and it was going to come down at some point. It couldn't be saved. Like, subscribe, please leave your comments. We definitely need to have a conversation about this. This shit is serious. And I'm out.